Good morning and thank you very much for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda Extra. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono. And just to remind you, we are always here from 6:30. So why not make it a date and start your day with us on Good Morning Uganda. I, Olive, and Julie plus Ruben with the sports updates. And not to forget the big team that is behind the scene, the technical bit of that, the technicians, the camera people, the sound engineers that make sure they are here. And by 6:30 we kickstart your day with so much interesting stories and ensuring that we take you around the globe so you can fit in any discussion, local or international, as long as it is meaningful discussion because you're very informed. Now, this morning, I want to focus on issues regarding the environment, and to be more particular, I'm going to be looking at Mukono Municipal Council. Now, on set, I have the town clerk of Mukono Municipal Council, that is Rubura Charles. You're most welcome. And at the extreme end, I have the environment officer, Mukono Municipal Council, and that is Masengere George William. Most welcome, Sebo.
Good morning. Our viewers, and I'm glad to be on set and on air for this program. Good morning, Uganda.
Now, we are going to be looking at climate resilience and environment management in Mukono Municipality. Now, to begin with, Town Clerk, when we talk about Mukono Municipality, briefly, because we cover the entire nation, briefly paint a picture what Mukono Municipality is in the mind of people, or location and something like that.
Good morning, viewers. It's a great opportunity today to be hosted here on UBC. Mukono is among the Greater Kampala GKMA. It is in the center, and its location is very favorable because it hosts the industrial hub, that's Namamve Industrial Park. It is very important. It has really boosted our economy. The people of Mukono are very friendly, and Mukono is one of the biggest municipality in Uganda with high potentials economically. Thank you.
Now, that takes me to the town clerk. We are focusing on environment. What are the pressing issues affecting the environment? What challenges now that are facing Mukono?
Yeah, well, I would start by also adding on to what my supervisor has said. What is Mukono? First of all, as Mukono is one of the fast-growing municipalities in the country, and it is seated on over 210 square kilometers. It has two divisions, that is Goma Division and Mukono Central Division. It has a council which is headed by the mayor, His Worship Elisa Mukasankoyoyo. It also has division chairs from Central, we have Kabanda, and then from Goma, we have Mr. Chiasa. And then, of course, with our attendant speakers. Now, when you come to what are the pressing issues of Mukono, of course, it's an urban center. Number one issue that is pressing Mukono is in environment, is waste management. Of course, waste management is a global and a national issue. Recently, we have just received an unfortunate event of Chitezi. And by the way, Mr. Robert Mukono hosted the waste that was coming from KCCA, from Kampala, and I believe it was for the entire Greater Kampala metropolitan area. So when it comes to Mukono, in as far as environment is concerned, we are speaking of waste management, we are speaking of wetlands, we are speaking of rivers and streams. We are talking about also drainage, because recently you had the rain that really affected people in terms of floods and other areas. And now when we talk about environment, those are the issues that we need to think about and then plan. Of course, as Mukono, we are putting our heads together to be able to develop certain strategies and policies that can guide our people and also guide the implementation of our programs within Mukono and within the entire Greater Kampala metropolitan area. And specifically, we are glad that we are among the 9 participating entities under the Greater Kampala Urban Development Program, which has about 4 pillars. One of the key pillars is urban resilience, where environment falls, looking at tree planting, looking at wetland management, looking at biodiversity management, looking at waste management, and all those attendant issues that speak to environment, sanitation, and climate change. Now, the other pillar that is also part of the program is infrastructure, that is mobility, roads, and we are glad as Mukono to be the first entity together with Chira to host the flagship projects, that is Lot 2 and Lot 3, that is of Mukono. And now when I speak of those 2 lots, Lot 2 starts from Wantoni, Katosi Road, and it goes through Chikoza, Kame, Anthony, it takes Albert Cook, Nabuti, Nsube, and then joins back to Katosi Road, and then it also covers Admin Link. The idea is, how do you improve mobility and how do you develop infrastructure that is supposed to support the people? And you know, when you talk about infrastructure, you're talking about also environment infrastructures, because those infrastructures cannot exist if they are not existing within the environment. And you know, they also support extraction of raw materials from the environment and also protection of the environment for the people to appreciate and be able to drive their livelihood. So, and as far as Mukono as pressing issues are concerned, that is also one of the key issues. Of course, the other global issue that is also affecting our people is air quality and air pollution, noise pollution in the urban setting. Mukono is not so different from Kampala and other urban areas within the country. Noise is a big issue. Air pollution, particulate matter in the environment is also another big issue. So these are the issues that we are trying to address and be able to plan around as far as Mukono is concerned.
Okay, now environmental issues that are affecting Mukono, we've gotten them. But I'm so interested, Town Clerk here, to know how you're addressing these issues and if there are penalties. For example, one of the biggest challenges for urban centers is waste management. I'm told, I stand to be corrected, that there came a time when KCCA thought Mukono would be the most suitable district, that you said, no, for us, if it is garbage, please don't bring this side. Better find other suitable places. So how are you handling garbage? Mukono is growing very fast, developing at a very terrific speed.
Yeah, with Mukono, the Council of Mukono has come up with a strategy of whereby we are developing a strategy to see that we manage garbage. And this one of it is that we are setting up a very standard profile plant at Katikolo, which will be first class, such that we manage illegal dumping. Of course, there is too much of illegal dumping, and this is because there is a lot of garbage which is collected within the area. And most households, in most cases, fail to collect their garbage. And times we have a large pile of garbage which can go on for almost a week, but because people are not sensitized enough. So what are we saying? We are coming out with a solid waste management strategy. And we are sure that by 2030, we shall be okay. In this strategy, we are going to ensure that it is passed. I'm sure, George, we already have a bylaw which is being developed, and it is going to be approved. And in that bylaw, they already set penalties which are punitive and maybe would discourage people to dump garbage like they do now.
I loved the word you used, waste management strategy. But what is entailed in this strategy? Because, you see, garbage, when I was in Entebbe, it was a problem. When I was in Jinja, they're somehow managing. When I was in Mbale, it was a problem. When I was in Fort Potro, wow, I admired. So I'm interested because Kampala seems to be failing. I'm sorry to say, but Kampala seems to be failing when it comes to garbage.
Yeah, well, I can speak to that in as far as solid waste management because of my experience in the space of waste management. I am currently the chair for waste management and sanitation in the Greater Kampala, and I have had experience in most of those areas. I know in Uganda we have 9 entities that are doing a project that is similar to what we have in Mukono. That is Jinja, that is Fort Potro, that is Kabale, Lira, Soroti, Mbale, Kasese, and then Mukono is another. But basically the idea was to develop, because there was a research done, a survey done to identify the composition of the waste that we generate within the country. And that survey found out that almost 70% of the waste we generate within Uganda, and particularly the urban areas, is organic. So from that kind of survey, we developed a concept of composting the waste that we generate, converting it into manure. And you see, if you have 70% of the waste you generate and then be able to develop a resource out of it, in our view, compost manure could be sent back into the gardens, and then it supports production, agriculture production. And then also, within that very project, it was also looking at how you can reduce on emission of greenhouse gases. That's when climate comes in, because what causes climate change is global warming, because global warming is caused also by emission of greenhouse gases, which create a blanket in the space. Now, if you do composting, and you do composting aerobically means the composting process is supplied with oxygen instead of generating greenhouse gases like methane, like hydrogen sulfide, like carbon monoxide. You generate other products which are not potent to generation of creation of the blanket layer, and the creation of the layer that is responsible for global warming. Now, if you do that, you'll earn 2 revenue streams that the framers of this entire project were looking at. Number one, they were looking at a generation of revenues from emission credit, reduction of emission, which leads to credits. The other one was generation of compost that you'd sell to the market and people buy. And Mukono in particular, were enjoying a good market, because if you look around, the nearest place to serve the entire central, that is Mukono, Mpigi, Wakiso, Kampala, and maybe Buyukwe, would be Mukono, because the nearest place you'd go to would be Jinja, and then Soroti, and then Imbari, and then Kabale, and then Imbarara. That is in the western, and then Kasese. So we enjoyed some time of selling compost, and I remember that time around 2015, we were selling to Skoll, we were selling to Rose Industries, the Rose Garden, those who were selling flowers, were selling to sugarcane growers, because the compost was valuable. And we also had customers who were buying and applying it onto banana, and it was doing a good job. So that is one of the components that we had looked at the time of inception of our project. Now, speaking to what my supervisor has spoken about, that is the waste management strategy. When we talk about a strategy as a municipal, we come up with ideas of how we want the municipality to be. Yes, the problem of waste management is there, but how do we address it so that we are able to generate the following? Jobs, clean jobs. We're able to generate a revenue. People can derive a livelihood out of it through either composting or through recycling of the waste. We now have, within Mukono, we now have people who are picking. We call them hubs, recyclers. People pick the PET bottles, people pick the paper bags, people pick the buveras, and take them to be recycled into other useful products. And that supports the local economy at the village level.
Even in Kampala, I see many of them.
Yes. Now, in our strategy, we are saying, let's not look at waste as just a material we can dump and leave. Let's look at waste as something that we can develop into an industry that can support job creation, an industry that can support education, an industry that can support production of food, an industry that can support a local economy. So in our strategy, we are looking at recycling, and as Mukono, so far, our Katikolo site that we have, that was part of the CDM project, we are again augmenting it with boosting compost production, and now we are transferring their material recovery facility to look at value addition. When we collect the plastic material, we are able to reduce the volume, compress it, and then shred it to be in fine units, and then send them back to make the plastic bags, to make the pipes, to make other products that can
So
be
that is already
in the
happening,
industry.
or it's in the pipeline?
It's in the pipeline because we were only waiting for power, three-phase power. Now, as we speak, we have a contract on site who is supposed to install their three-phase, and then we also secured machinery from our partners like GIZ, who supplied us with a baler that compresses and compiles it, and then we were given a washer to clean the material, because as you collect material, it has some impurities in them, so you need to wash it and clean it, and then we also have a dryer on site. Now, the remaining part would be, if we can get a shredder, we can get an extruder to convert that plastic material into valuable products. And of course, we believe that is the strategy we are moving in ensuring that we don't just pile waste. We only convert the waste and then turn it into another valuable product. And then also, we believe that waste management with private sector, it can be a good turnaround point. Because as a government, we may not be efficient and effective in handling waste, because our population is growing, our numbers in terms of tonnage is also rising, and you know, if you have, now we used to have Chitezi is no more, now you have to go as far as Mitiana Road, where KCC has put a facility. The rest of the places, the rest of the municipalities don't have a site where they can manage their waste from. So that means if you don't have a designated place where waste is supposed to be, maybe apart from Entebbe, which has Katabi, if you don't have, then you see certain dumping, haphazard dumping in our wetlands, in our abandoned spaces. They will be full of garbage. So what you need to do, convert that waste and let the people start seeing the value out of it, and then say, instead of just abandoning it there, let's take it to people who can convert a valuable product out of it and then earn a living out of it. So that's what we are thinking as Mukono people.
Those are very good strategies, I must say, if they can fully be implemented. When someone knows that this is money. Ugandans, where there is money, there you've gotten us right. But I want to go to the town clerk now. I want to look at community involvement.
Yes.
Now, you see, as long as the community does not understand why certain things are being put in place, they may not support these. You may see it as your council, as the town clerk, pass all these ordinances, we discuss here strategies, but if they are not involved, one would still feel comfortable to collect and dump anywhere.
Yeah.
So how are you bringing the community on board?
Yeah, of course, as we set up these programs and strategies, we can't do them without council. So when we develop a strategy, we always pass through council, and the council has to endorse. And when it is passed by council, that is when we can go ahead and implement. And that's why we have come up with the strategy, the bylaw, but it has already been approved by council. We don't end there. We also make sure that we carry out stakeholders engagement, because the people we are leading must be informed, and we do this through barazas. We normally call people around, and when they gather, we tell them what we are really doing, what we plan to do, and its impact. So normally we need to be with the people. We need to hold stakeholders engagement, and we have actually done that, and we shall continue doing so, because they must be informed. We must work as a team. We cannot achieve alone, as a technical person. The councillors, the executive, the mayors, they must all participate, and we are doing very well in that area.
Doing very well in that area. But also when we talk about them participating, I go back to the environment officer. Let's look at what have been the effects of climate change, because most of the times the elite, we understand climate change. But as long as the people don't understand, we find it hard for any campaign to promote resilience and adaptation.
Of course, I like it when you ask that how have you involved the community, because and climate change speaks to the community more than most of the other things, because you cannot touch the impact of climate change here, and sometimes when it happens, the effect is devastating. As Mukono, we are developing a climate change action plan. When you talk about climate change, I normally tell people that when you say climate change, you're talking about three things. You're talking about water, you're talking about heat, you're talking about capacity. Because it's from capacity that people are able to develop resilience. And water is the biggest felt impact that people feel in as far as climate change is concerned. Now for Mukono, we're talking about floods, we're talking about loss of livelihoods, we're talking about damage to property, we're talking about injuries, we are talking about episodes that we have seen and our people, communities have seen, when a rooftop comes and of a school is blown off, and the learners do not have space where to study from, and it is a rainy season. So these are visible impacts that when you invite the people to say, now, yes, we have seen this, evidently, let's come up with an action plan of seeing how we can address it. Now, for you to develop a climate change action plan, you need to first do what we call a climate change risk vulnerability assessment to know which communities are likely to be impacted. And when you look at the impacts, you have to scale them, say, which are the low impacts, which are the medium impacts, which are the high impacts. And therefore, when you're designing strategies of responding to these impacts, you are deliberate and intentional in designing an action plan that will address those impacts. So for Mukono particularly, we are saying people who are living in low-lying areas are at risk of having floods, clearing their households, clearing their businesses. Like for example, to be specific in Mukono, you're talking about people that are residing in Kame. When it rains, all the waters from Besania Hill, all the waters from up level, upstream, will be draining into that. And you know, the drainage channels, sometimes they will overflood, and the people who are operating in the market, their goods and merchandise will go. You know, it sounds just a story, but until people see that, I think my boss, you remember when we had rains and the people of Bugere Road, water entered into their shops, the hardware, cement was lost, and that is value, that is livelihood. Somebody picked a loan from the bank, and water comes and starts messing up with all the cement and the products, and then devalues whatever is supposed to sell. So that's how people feel the impact of climate change. And now, when we sit together, we say, what actions can we do? Because you see, when climate change attacks, the vulnerable people at the lower level of the pyramid. We're talking about children. Sometimes, you remember we lost a child along Nabuti who was sent to go and throw garbage because of rain. They know that there is a channel which flows, and now it has rained, so they say, please, help us get rid of the garbage. They send a child. When the child reaches there, all he does is to step and feel the level of water, drags the kid, and life is lost. Those are among the impacts that we look at and say, can we build the capacity of the people to be sensitized that, please, these practices are dangerous to your livelihoods?
Well, it's there where I'll begin from when we go for this short break. That's when I return. But also look at issues regarding revenue, because most of the things the environment officer is discussing cannot be done without revenue. Let's take a short break.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Hello, Kampala, Uganda. In response to the national call of strengthening the traffic security, Good Products Group HGO brand has officially launched the Rider Selection Campaign. Registration is now open. Visit www.riders.hgo.com. Complete your registration now for a chance to win exciting prizes including motorcycles, exclusive HGO gift boxes, and official rider vests, all while promoting safe riding awareness. This is how to participate. Pay the registration fee, invite 3 friends to form a team of 4, and your registration fee will instantly be refunded. Begin your journey of honor today. Don't miss this opportunity. Join the challenge, promote road safety, and become a pioneer rider. For details, visit the official Good Products website at www.hgo.com or call toll free 0800-335-555 or visit our offices at Kingdom Kampala 3rd floor to register now and win prizes worth millions.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. Come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful kids water park. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotelconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
You're still watching the Extra on UBC TV. Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono, and with me I have Rubura Charles, who is the town clerk of Mukono Municipal Council. And also I have Masengere George William, who is the Environment Officer, Mukono Municipal Council. We are looking at climate resilience and environmental management, particularly in this part of the country. How are they managing? It is growing very, very fast development there, but how are they coping up to ensure that Mukono, the livelihoods of the people are not affected so much by climate change? Now here I want to bring in the town clerk. Environment, we need finances. One time I was speaking to some of the officials from the base here in Kampala, and they said, but you see, if we had enough money, if we would collect enough money, maybe if you are told that what we collect, there is a percentage that doesn't go to the consolidated fund but remains with us and helps us purchase at least more garbage trucks. Now, how is the issue of revenue collection in Mukono?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, we cannot tackle environmental degradation without finance, because what normally happens is that we need proper planning, and the planning itself is very expensive. If we are to mitigate the environmental degradation, we need better roads, we need better schools, we need clear dumping grounds, we need street lighting, we need so many things. But in order to achieve that, we need the sources of revenue, we need finance. Because actually what we get is not enough. Actually, the local governments should begin being independent such that they can be able to sustain themselves. Because most of the funds which comes from the center has strings attached. So you may find that some of the things which are very emergent cannot be done.
It is ring-fenced. A
Ring
grant
fenced,
comes
yes,
very
It
clear.
has strings attached. This one must do this, this one must do this. But then, the way forward is to have your local revenue, because you can do development tailored towards the demands of the people. But to do this, we need funds. But luckily enough, Mukono has strong bases of revenue. But where is the problem? The problem is people are not compliant. People, when we talk about tax, at times they look at it as being punitive. They see it as a punishment. Most people don't want to pay tax. Maybe it could be part of our role to sensitize them. We need to sensitize them to know the importance of tax, of paying taxes, because when you pay taxes, you are doing a service to the community. It's like you, a taxpayer, you are giving back to your community. So what we demand from the taxpayers is that if you have paid your tax, what do you demand from us? Are we doing the right things? Me, I've paid my money.
Is there
And that is-
value for money?
So they need to see value for money. Otherwise, we must put effort into seeing that we extract revenue. Like Mukono has a strong base of local service tax, a strong base of business licenses. These two are highly attracted from the industrial park because we have so many industries, so many investors, and we really need to see something done. Actually, also to encourage them to pay, we need to show that we have done something for them. We collect property rate from the industrial park, we collect local service tax, but then they ask, what have you done for us? We are saying that you look at Namamve itself, part of Namamve has not been tackled. They have not done roads in some part of the industrial park. Government of Uganda has concentrated in those areas that belong to the industrial park. But we have areas within the industrial park belonging to private investors. But they also have roads which are connecting to the industrial park. So as Mukono, we also think that as a payback, when these people give us the money, let us also make the roads which are connecting to their factories. Maybe they would see the reason why we should pay the money. When we get these services, when we get the taxes, of course, there's going to be economic boom. There will be economic growth. Because when we have businesses growing up, then we shall be able to do whatever we want. Even these issues which are affecting the environment, we shall be able to address them.
So I love the fact that you say there is high possibility of collecting revenue, but the issue has been people complying to their noble obligation as citizens of Uganda to pay tax. But no wonder even in the biblical days, tax wasn't an easy thing. Some wise men came to our Lord Jesus Christ and were trying to look at all avenues of dodging tax. But he was clear, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and to God what belongs to God. Yes, you want to supplement?
First of all, I want to say thank you to Government of Uganda through Office of the President. We were granted a program for urban development, and that very program has two components. The first component is institutional strengthening. Then the other component is infrastructure development. That is MDG, Municipal Development Grant. Now, under institutional strengthening grant, we have a company that supports us to boost our revenue source. Part of the objective of that program is to build our capacity as a municipal council to perform better in the spaces of revenue and other areas of governance. Now in revenue as Mukono, we decided to say that we shall use that grant to do massive property valuation, because the law requires that you charge property rates from those that you have evaluated and you have agreed on the rates that are supposed to be paid. Now for us as Mukono, it has given us a big boost, because we're collecting close to about 200, now we are running in about 600, 700 millions. That is a big boost. Now it also speaks to how we engage our people in as far as taxpayers is concerned, taxpayer education, taxpayer sensitization, taxpayers awareness, going out to the people and telling them this is the statutory requirement to pay taxes, but it also, these are the services that we shall give back to you as part of what you are supposed to pay. Then also, we have also done a physical development plan for the entire municipality. Remember, we didn't have funds. We were only putting about 50 millions per year, and then it would take us 5 years before you do this ward. Development has overtaken. Now we use that fund under the institutional strengthening grant to say we are now developing a physical development plan for the entire municipality. Remember, we are saying we are owning almost 70–80% of industrial park is based in Mukono. Namamve Industrial Park, the one of UIA, is within Mukono municipality. Now that is our cash cow. So what we are saying, we develop the entire comprehensive physical development plan, and then we are able to guide the development. We say this place is supposed to be for residential, this one is an industrial area, this one is a mixed commercial, this one is where cottage is supposed to be. After doing that, then we go say, now we are now working on infrastructure. We are connecting the roads here and there. Where we have a gap, where local revenue can support us, we do. Where local revenue cannot support us, we engage government to boost the entire planning. So I believe we are grateful as Mukono people for the government which has supported us in that space, and we believe by at the end of the 4 years we shall have quite a lot. And I know what is in the pipeline now, we are also planning to make our Kame market one of the biggest market of Mukono municipality. We are now working on relocating the vendors, taking them to an ideal place so that construction of the roads continues, and as well as also construction of the market is concerned. And we believe when we did an evaluation, we realized we had over 3,000 people that are likely to be housed within the market.
But when we see the market see the light of day, reason being, there is some information I received, and I stand to be corrected, that the land where government had planned to have that market still had issues. Don't know if town clerk you can come in. That was it belonging to Uganda then. So it's like government had put a stop to that and moved to another area where they are well organized. Town clerk, you aren't organized enough.
No. The program is still ongoing because we have the land. Yeah, it's not for Uganda.
Then that will happen. But also on the planning, I love the fact that you brought it in. Having a plan for Mukono is very important, but sticking to that plan, town clerk, now I will excuse the environmental man, but the ball is in your hands. Many a times I've seen areas that have plans. They tell you this is an industrial area, but some tycoon madly comes from there and a structure comes up, and there's always justification for that. When we say this is a residential area, you wake up, someone has leased his land prime in there to be a taxi park. You know, this is a residential area. Bars are hitting left, center, and right. Now, when I came in to purchase this piece of land, I was told that is residential. So I'm like, let me build my house here. I'll age well. The next day I have a taxi park. This side I have a factory of a maize mirror machine, there are about 3. This side, and it's all nonsensical, but you have a plan. So how are you going to enforce? Let's even call it enforce, because Ugandans are very crafty and disturbing at times.
Actually, what is happening is that for Mukono, we are still developing our physical development plan. And I'm sure when it is done, we shall be able to enforce, but it includes so many things. sometimes, putting it on the ground is not easy because it needs a lot of funds. For example, when they say here we're gazetting roads, they need to be opened. When we say road is going to pass here, it has to be opened. But if it is not done, it will still be encroached on. Then when we try to lay things as they are in the development plan, it is possible because it will create order. But right now, our plan is not yet out. But once it is done, we are going to follow it and we shall implement. I also hear the cries of people. For example, I hear so many complaints about people about stone crushing. Somebody has built a residential house somewhere there. Somebody has a stone crushing machine in the front of the residential area.
It becomes a quarry.
It is really very unfortunate. People are disturbed. There is too much noise.
And the environment officer chickens out.
The environment officer.
Chickens.
It is really a very big challenge.
He will have all technicalities to explain. You see, they got a license. Now this license wasn't given to us. It is from Ministry of Energy. There are so many excuses that you can't. And the investor will continue with this breaking and.
Maybe we have to be tough with the enforcement. We have to put in tight laws, and we see that once the development plan is in place, it must be followed. Equally like the churches. Everywhere churches are springing up, shouting with loud speakers overnight, and also you hear complaints. People are complaining. It is also really polluting the environment, and I think we must have a stop to that.
Well, I can take hours having people from Mukono because there is so much interesting things that are happening there, mostly when it comes to their plan to see how best they can handle the environment. Allow me give each of my guests this morning just a minute for their parting shot, and I'll begin with the man in charge of the environment in this municipal.
Thank you very much, Mukulu Chirabo. Of course, first of all, I don't take this opportunity for granted to have space to speak to the nation and on our plans, but I also invite the media because you play a big role in sensitizing the wananchi, especially at the local level. How I wish other media agencies can also borrow relief from what I can see from UBC, and then be able also to give us a platform within which we can speak to our people and tell them the programs we have and what we feel is a danger to their livelihood, a danger to their health, because you neglect the environment, you're neglecting your life, you're neglecting your humanity, because environment is part of who we are as humanity. So I think the future can be bright if we are all working together. I also believe that the leaders can also play a big role. For example, if I'm planting a tree in front of your neighborhood, don't stop me, because that is your tree. At the end of the day, you intend to have so many benefits out of it. When we talk about trees, photosynthesis, they absorb carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. They are able to give us the modulation of the microclimate and all those values that we cannot touch and see. So in a way, environmental management is our core responsibility as human beings. I remember the words of the late Pope. He said, environment is one of the other values the Catholic Church can pick on, as it was an addition, and it was invented by him. Of course, Pope has powers to come up with an idea, and then he says, this is what the church is supposed to follow. Now that yesterday were celebrating the Uganda Matters Day, I think it's very important. Our people also believe that environment is Mother Nature, and then we should conserve it as a country, Uganda. Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you so much. That is Masengere George William, in charge of environment, Mukono Municipal Council. Thank you very much. Now, Town Clerk, as we move out of here, your parting shot.
Yeah, thank you very much, our host. I also want to appeal to the community, especially those in Mukono, on issues of revenue. I understand in most cases some of them have complaints. The tax is very high, but there are always avenues. If you feel you have been taxed unfairly, please come to our office. We can address your issues. Thank you very much.
Well, please come to the office. Sometimes, yes, I also agree. The people on ground can make judgments when they most of taxes where they're just estimating, where there aren't proper books of records and they just estimate. Sometimes that may be unfair to you, but run to the town clerk's office and let them revisit and see which actual figure you're supposed to be paying. Don't dodge paying tax, because when fines come, it's very heavy on you. Pay tax, do business comfortably, and let Mukono develop. Now, I'm also very eager and waiting to see how the environment strategy for Mukono district will be, because these are things we believe that will help us, and maybe it will be a case study. I told you when I was in Fort Potro, 2 things I loved about that city. I never saw street children. I don't know where they hide. In Fort Potro town, it is the only town I've been to where I never saw street children in Uganda. The level of hygiene in Fort Potro was so good. So I hope and pray that now Mukono, since you also have a plan, I wait to see something like that. And also for the infrastructure development plan. How I long to see planned, organized cities. Leave alone these investors who now buy chunks of land and then they plan. We want to see something by a government entity. May the good Lord bless you so much. Have the best of your day. See you tomorrow, God willing.
Live from